Here's the top 5 cheap destinations in Europe to visit on a long weekend city break trip. You think you will once again hear about Paris, London or Rome? Not this time. I bet you haven't heard and seen all of them, and because these places are less popular, they are much more authentic and much cheaper. Here's the list with a 3 to 4 days itinerary. The last one is oftentimes overlooked and I didn't see it on any other top cities list, but I'm sure you will be amazed. Let's get right to it. The first city is famous for its food and coffee. It's a place where you can, without a doubt, eat the world's best pizza and probably drink the best coffee. But there's so much more than that when it comes to Naples. The best time to visit the city that is called the capital of southern Italy is late summer until early winter or late winter until early summer. You might have heard about Napoli. You might have heard about the Neapolitan mafia, so the first question to be asked before you visit it would be, how high are the chances you will get killed? Probably it's somewhere like 50%. Okay, of course I'm kidding. Other than common crimes, which is average, as like for every other big European city, it's totally safe there. Besides the mafia, what else is there to see? Pizza and espresso was already mentioned, and these are must-haves, but there's much more, like dishes based on the local buffalo mozzarella and sweet delicious tomatoes. If you're not scared of a heart attack, you can get almost everything deep fried there, like a fried pizza or deep fried mozzarella. Naples itself is a beautiful but really chaotic place, and 2 days might be not enough to see it. But if you had just 4 days, I would recommend to spend 2 of them in the city itself, hitting the Old Town, the Spanish Quarter, with some best pizzerias. We ate at Pizza and Passione, and I can really recommend it, but there's a pizzeria on every corner. In Naples, it's also worthwhile to visit the castle San Elmo to have a beautiful view on the city and the coast. The great thing about this city is that there's so much to see and do around it. For the third day, you can visit 2 most famous landmarks very close by, which are the Vesuvio volcano and the ruins of the Pompeii city. You can get a ticket for both, and it's really convenient to do so. For the last day, you can either visit the famous Capri Island, where George Clooney type of people spend their holidays, or go a bit more south. In that case, I would recommend spending there more than a day and visit the Amalfi Coast, one of the most beautiful coastlines in the whole Mediterranean Sea. The next destination is getting more and more popular, but is still far behind the most popular travel destinations in Europe. Which is great because it's still relatively cheap and not so crowded. It's also my hometown, so it must be listed in every top 10 list I will ever create. Well, unless, I don't know, it's about the worst cities, or cities in Asia, or not about cities, or, well, never mind. Talking about the lovely city of Krakow. The medieval old town is the most popular place, and it's the one that makes the city so unique. The main square, the Wawel Castle, the hundreds of churches and little squares, cafes and palaces are admired by many. If you want to enjoy the nightlife, it's worth it to swerve on the old town, as it's more like an old monument for tourists, so although beautiful, you can eat and drink better and cheaper in the old Jewish quarter Kazimierz or the old industrial quarter Podgórze, where there's plenty of great bars and restaurants. If you end up in Podgórze, I recommend visiting the Museum of Second World War in the Schindler's Factory and to climb up Crags Mount to get a view on the city. Same as with Naples, there's also a lot to do around the city. So if you were to spend 2 days in Krakow, you can spend a half day in the nearby salt mines, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that is not to be seen anywhere else, like a whole city graved in salt a few hundred meters below the surface. The 4th day could and should be the German Nazi concentration camp in Auschwitz, which is just about 60 kilometers away from Krakow. I guess it's well known around the world, so no additional words are needed. Probably not the most cheerful place, but one that everyone should see once. And once is enough, by the way. The next destination is one I bet you haven't heard of. Or no, I don't bet. Well, probably millions of people are to watch this video, so there will be people that know that place for sure. But yeah, everyone should know it, that's for sure. And there's everything you need for a great city break. amazing views surrounding beautiful city, and we're again in the more eastern part of Europe. We are in Brasov in central Romania. In general, I think Romania itself is underestimated, but it's one of Europe's most beautiful countries and really affordable. And one of the highlights is Brasov, especially for its architecture and really nice old town, but also because of its location just next to the Carpathian Mountains. Another important benefit of that city is that Ryanair operates at the local airport, so you can get there directly from many other European cities with a cheap ticket. In Brasov, the old town with the council square and black church will definitely make a good impression on any traveler. As it's not a very big city, one day for sightseeing should be enough. But that's awesome, as I needed to be really picky to select only 2 or 3 other attractions that are worthwhile visiting nearby, as there's so much more to see. You should definitely end the day with climbing the Tampa mountain or getting there with a cable car to get an amazing view on the city and mountains. Another must-see place is the Bran Castle. Located just about half an hour from the city, it's a castle associated with the Dracula legend. Although the protoplast, Vlad the Impaler, didn't live there, it's still an amazing place to visit. If that's your thing, there are few other castles located nearby, but for me the mountains are too enticing to do something else. Just next to Brasov you can go to do some hiking in the Fogarashan mountains, but what I would recommend is to go a bit further west and do a trip at the Trans-Fogarashan road. It would take about 2 hours one way, but man, there's a good reason why it has been called the road to the sky, and the Top Gear team declared it the best road in the world. But it's just breathtaking. Really recommend climbing it as high as possible, but beware, it's accessible only in the summer months. In the colder ones, it's covered in snow. Let's shift to a place that could be also an amazing destination for classic holidays, bathing in sunshine and not moving your finger for a whole week. But this is not what city breaks are about. The next city is Split, a city in Croatia and the capital of the Dalmatia region. Croatia is easily one of the most beautiful countries in Europe, but still quite underrated. Now, Split is a city where I thought it's a place I could live. It just felt so good there. Beautiful weather, amazing coastline and nearby mountains. What would you want more? If you want more, there's the famous Diocletian Palace in the center, which are remains from the Roman times. The city itself is probably not to be traveled around for a whole week, but you can definitely see all the main attractions in a day and walk the sea promenade and enjoy some amazing seafood. But after all, you're about to spend there 3 to 4 days. What I would recommend would be either to chill on the beach, that can be done in Split, or you can go further south to the Makarska Riviera, the most popular beach enthusiast area in Croatia. If you prefer something more active, you can go north, not that far either, to Trogir, a small town which is listed on the UNESCO World Heritage List for the amazing old town, which gives a specific vibe and is definitely worth giving a visit. From there you can go to Krka National Park. Krka, it's a place where the Krka river creates amazing cascading waterfalls. Great place to visit if you're more into natural sights. Before we get to the last one, if you liked the video, consider subscribing to the channel. The last one, amazing food, check. Beautiful shore, check. And beaches, check. Stunning mountains just next to that city, check. The mountain is a volcano that likes to erupt, check. The place is again known for the mafia, check. It's a total chaos and mess, also check. Maybe it doesn't sound all that marvelous, but when you combine all the ingredients, you can get a perfect city break destination. Although there are many cities that are worth visiting on Sicily, Italy, but there are just 2 with airports, and the one I would recommend is Catania. It's located in the eastern part of the island and lies just next to the Etna volcano, Europe's highest one. Why would Catania be an awesome travel destination though? It's not a very popular place to visit and not even in the top list for places to be visited in Sicily itself. Well, there's a good reason for that. First of all, the location, and that you can do trips to other amazing attractions that are close by. Second of all, Etna was the absolute highlight of the whole island for me, so you can do that easily when you land in Catania. And the third reason is that I actually really love the city itself. Although it's noisy, dirty, chaotic, it has a charm to it. It has lots of great restaurants or a famous fish market and a really nice city center. But since there's a lot to do around Catania, If you had just 3 to 4 days, I would recommend spending there only one day. Visit the central square with the cathedral, walk the Via Etna promenade and see some of the Roman ruins, mostly the two amphitheaters. Wait a sec. Did I mention something about the mafia? How high are the chances that you... Nah, just kidding. Again, Catania seems to be a very safe place. I've been walking around the city in the evenings many times and I haven't really encountered any dangerous situations. But now, the really interesting stuff starts when you leave Catania. Another half a day or a full day should be spent on Etna. You can get to a parking lot at 2000 meters above sea level, and we didn't go any further up as it was totally enough, and there are possibilities to just wander on the craters located very close to the parking. There are also options to go up with a cable car and 4x4 buses. Choose whatever you like. You should end up with still having 1 or 2 days left. Those you should definitely use for the two most popular towns on Sicily, Taormina and Syracuse. Both are just an hour drive away from Catania. Taormina is located on the other side of Etna and it's a lovely little town. Amazing views, hills and a beautiful beach, Isola Bella. So literally a beautiful island. Be aware though that it can be really crowded there if you're traveling in the tourist season, so make sure to travel early in the morning to get a parking spot in the nearby parking lots. If you're traveling to one of those places, I would recommend to pack lightly as you would have to move around quite a lot. And that is much easier to be done if you pack into one bag. So you better learn how to do it the best way to really enjoy your travel. To do that, go check that video next, I really recommend it. Cheers, safe travels and do zobaczenia!